Is America's second in command hiding a shocking family secret? Vice President Kamala Harris's call for reparations has unleashed a firestorm of controversy. But the real bombshell? Her own ancestors' ties to slavery. Tonight, we expose the truth behind Harris's family tree and how it conflicts with her public stance. Plus, we'll show you the jaw dropping campaign appearances that have everybody talking. You won't believe what we've uncovered in this next News Network exclusive. So stay tuned for my final thought. It is a game changer. Now, folks, before we dive into this explosive report, let me tell you about a crisis that's hitting Americans hard. Just like Kamala Harris' campaign is full of hot air, your home might be too, and it's costing you big time. A shocking 20 million households are behind on their power bills, some owing a whopping 13 million. But there is a way to beat the heat and the greedy power companies. I found a magical device that's slashing my AC bills faster than Kamala changes her positions. Now, this mini AC unit makes any room icy cold in minutes and could be a lifesaver during blackouts. Visit the link down below, easysummercool.com, or click the link below for up to 60% off today. Now, let's get back to the heat that Kamala is facing. That's right, Vice President Kamala Harris is under fire for her stance on reparations, given her family's slave-holding past. A British historian dropped a bombshell revealing Harris's link to Hamilton Brown, a notorious Irish slave owner who ran Jamaican plantations and fought against abolition. This Daily Mail headline says it all. Harris' great-great-great-grandfather owned over 120 slaves and actively opposed ending the slave trade. Yet here's what the vice president had to say about reparations. Watch.
Should black people get reparations?
I think there has to be some form of reparations, and we can discuss what that is.
Should black people get reparations?
Now, if you watch it again, watch her eyes dart to the bottom. Right at the end of the clip, watch. Yeah, you see that she's like, yeah, my family owned slaves. So does that mean Kamala's got to open up her wallet? That's right, she's pushing for reparations while her own family benefited from slavery. The hypocrisy is staggering. And critics are now questioning Harris's authenticity. Listen to what Jason Whitlock recently had to say. Listen to this.
Kamala is an affront, and I don't say this but just her pretending to be a black woman. That's an affront to me. And that's not out of some racial pride of, hey, I don't want you in this group, but it's just she's piggybacking something that her family heritage has nothing to do with. Her mother's an Indian, her father was from Jamaica. She's not a part of the people that whose ancestors were slaves. This is just like a grift. She's no different than Barack Obama used it as a grift to advance his career. We got to cut this out, and we got to call this out for what it is. This is a grifter who's a Marxist, believes in equity, and has been raised in that Northern California, San Francisco, elitist, socialist, communist mindset. And just go look at San Francisco, and is that really what we want for the rest of the nation? We got to call it out.
And by the way, yeah. I think you can see this I don't know if you've noticed this, but when Kamala Harris is if she's speaking to or campaigning in front of black people, she suddenly gets like black dialect creeping into her speech. But when she's not in front of black people, not pandering to them, it's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, that's code switching or whatever. Do it all the time. And that's why we have to, myself, I'm a believer, all these identities that we're taking on that have nothing to do with Jesus Christ, they're all a burden. And so this black identity and people waking up every day trying to prove how black they are. And you can prove you're black, vote for Kamala Harris. I wake up every day, and we all need to start waking up every day, those of us that are believers. I just want to prove I'm a Christian and just leave it at that. And all these other things are a distraction that are actually killing, harming us. And it's why, again, we have drag queens in schools and why we have just all the chaos. We're just We're destroying ourselves with our idolatry.
Yep. Now, Whitlock's words you heard there cut deep, suggesting Harris is misrepresenting her heritage for political gain. But it doesn't stop there. Harris's campaign is a masterclass in pandering. Watch how she talks to drag queens in Los Angeles. Watch.
We are all in this together, and your vote is your power. So please make sure your voice is heard this November and register to vote at vote.gov.
Can I get an amen?
Amen! Now on with the show.
And remember, you better vote.
Wow. How cringe was that? Now let's compare that to her speech in Atlanta. Watch.
And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024. Yes, we will. So let's get right.
Yeah. Yes, we will. You know what? That's going to be the next rallying cry. Yes, we will. They're going to try and piggyback off the Obama brand, and it's already happening. There's a lot of people who are saying that she is carrying this Obama-esque momentum. But that clip compared to the previous one is like watching two different people. So the flip-flopping is why many are calling her the fakest politician in history. But wait, it gets worse. At a recent campaign rally, Harris featured a performance by Megan Thee Stallion that is raising eyebrows. Now watch.
Hey! 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 Yeah! Body crazy, curvy plate. Yeah, yeah. Body crazy, curvy plate.
Okay, enough. Cut it. You can leave it on frame here for a minute. Now, the lyrics to that song, they're too explicit for me to repeat here. Okay? Now, from what I understand, she presented a censored version of this song. But nonetheless, like, you see all those people in the yellow behind her? Those are all union people. They have to be there. And I could only imagine the level of cringe some of those people are standing there just watching this. Just booty shaking. And, I mean, it's probably the reason all those people are in that audience is because they want the free show from Megan Thee Stallion, not for Kamala Harris. But is this the example that our vice president wants to set for young Americans? Meanwhile, real Americans are speaking out. Here's what one Trump supporter at a Trump rally had to say. Watch.
You want to know why I'm here to support President Trump? Because they done did black men like this for decades. Make up charges and put them, so I know Trump is innocent. I support Trump against this corrupt, two-tiered justice system. That's why I'm here to show my support as a black man for Trump. And I'm wearing my shirt, Niggas for Trump 2024, and I mean that. You want?
So, this man's passion shows the growing frustration with Harris's inconsistent messaging and actions. Now, critics argue that Harris's approach perpetuates dependency on government, keeping communities voting Democrat. But what does democracy really mean to politicians like Harris? Well, what you're about to see breaks it down. Watch.
When you're a Democrat, what does democracy really mean?
Democracy.
Democracy.
Our democracy.
Our democracy.
When you're a Democrat, democracy means conspiring in a years-long cover-up to hide the fact that your election candidate and sitting president is cognitively compromised and mentally unfit, rigging your own primary for one candidate by blocking alternatives, then disenfranchising your own voters by executing a coup to remove him once the cover-up is exposed and you're behind in the polls. When you're a Democrat, democracy means censoring the internet, attempting to destroy anyone who opposes it, and employing U.S. intelligence agencies to outsource First Amendment violations to third-party surrogates. When you're a Democrat, democracy means attempting to remove your political opponent's name from the ballot, opposing all election security measures, making it harder to prosecute voter fraud, and killing legislation that would strengthen laws against non-citizens voting in national elections. When you're a Democrat, democracy means waging an unprecedented lawfare campaign against your political opponent, trying to imprison him, jailing as many of his supporters as possible, and demonizing him with so much harmful rhetoric that it leads to an assassination attempt. When you're a Democrat, democracy really means Democrat power.
Wow. Western Lensman put that together. Amazing video. So it's clear. The Harris's version of democracy might not align with what many Americans actually believe. So if you got value from this report, tap subscribe. It's time for my final thought. Now, folks, the hypocrisy we've uncovered here is staggering. Kamala Harris, descendant of slave owners, now champions reparations. She panders to different groups, flip-flopping her message faster than a fish out of water. Her campaign promotes explicit content while claiming to uphold values. This is not leadership. It is political theater at its worst. And Harris's actions don't just undermine her credibility, they mock the very people she claims to represent. As vice president, she should be uniting our republic, not dividing it for votes. It's time for Americans to wake up and see through this charade because our future depends on it.